Good morning, welcome to Defiant Sports and welcome to the Community Business Festival. We're really happy to join you here on the first day of the festival on a beautiful sunny day from Eastbourne, and we're a community business. We'd like to tell you a little bit about that, so come inside and see what we do. Okay, so we've had this building now about 7 months and we're renovating it and making it into a real hub for the community and a sports facility for anyone with a barrier to participation, because that's what we're all about. We have over here a multi-sports court. You can see at the moment we've got our basketball net up, we've got a swing ball over there, we can also play football or hockey and all sorts of things in there. We've got our tennis net that goes up, and we work with lots of people with lots of different health conditions, disabilities and anything else that makes sport a little bit of a challenge, because we believe that everyone should be able to gain the benefits from sport, not just able-bodied people or those who are elite players, and we really want everyone to be able to join in with us. So, as well as our sports court, we offer lots of other activities within the hub, and those include things like social groups, youth clubs and art and craft groups, just to help people find the way they want to interact and what they do. And being a community business, we benefit from a lot of grants and donations which have helped us to build this hub, but we also charge for our services because we have traded income too, like everybody else in the community business. So we have some fitness equipment here that you can come and just try out, because we know it can be really scary going to a gym where all the people already look like they know what they're doing. So come here, try something nice and simple with us, build your confidence. We've got our pool table, our football table and our table tennis out here behind me. And again, these are really nice ways of getting active in the community without any pressure, without any stress. One thing that we always believe in as well is a nice cup of tea, and at the moment, unfortunately, we still haven't quite got our own electricity supply. We do have over the back here our camping stove and kettle, so you can be assured of a lovely warm cup of tea or coffee along with a warm welcome from our team here at Defiant Sports. We consist of both staff and volunteers, and we also get a lot of community support, so you'll find lots going on down here and a nice little buzz happening. We're hoping that you might click through our website after watching the fitness video with us this morning, and that you will enjoy finding out what we do and maybe come along and get involved or talk to us about how we can help you, and we'd love to help. So thank you for coming to visit us. As well as our hub, we have our shop over here, which again helps us raise a little bit of money. And behind this is going to be our sensory room. You'll see there's a different coloured floor there. And eventually we'll get the walls up and we will have lighting and soft play and all sorts of things in there that help people to really experience movement and activity, who maybe can't do the big active sports, but they can certainly enjoy things in different ways. If you've got any way that you'd like to be helped, or you'd like to find out more about what we do drop us a message and come and talk to us. I'm Loretta, and the rest of my team are all very keen to talk to you too. So have a great festival. Okay, we're going to start our workout with you now. So today is all about getting a little bit active, but also thinking about relaxation and stretches and those nice things to ease us into the day, especially as this is the first session of the Community Business Festival. So let's get you up and going. Okay, we're going to start by stretching out. So Callum here is going to do our stretches, and you can watch and join in with us if you like, or save it for later and have a go then. So Callum, we're going to start at the top. So you're going to start with the chin, drop down to your chest, up to your shoulder, down to the middle, up to the other side. So let's just do that a few more times. That's lovely. Callum works with us on a regular basis, so you'll notice he probably jumps in and starts before I finish explaining, which is all good. Okay, very nice. Now back to centre and relax again. Now we're going to start looking at our shoulders. So during these stretches, we're going to come all the way through the body just to get you nice and limber, ready for the rest of the session. So we're going to start with our shoulders now, and we're going to try and shrug our shoulders up to our ears. So we're going to go up and down again, and up and down again. Okay, so it's this bit here moving up and down. Okay, nice. Well done, Callum. Feel those muscles moving. You should feel possibly a little bit of movement around the back here. We're looking at these muscle groups waking up a little bit for us to get us ready to go. Beautifully done, Callum. Okay, and relax again. We like to take a few seconds between our stretches just so that we're chilled and we're not putting too much pressure on our muscle groups too early on. Okay, we're going to do our going to start by going backwards. So we're going to have some big circles backwards, and remember to try and get your arms up close to your ears. If you can do this, guys, bring your arms right up close to your ears and try and brush past your ears as you go. If you're anything like me, you hear a few crunches as it all goes around, that's fine. It's just waking up and getting ready for the day. Okay, nice big circles. That's lovely, and we're going to go the other way. So that's it, come over. Now we're like we're swimming our butterfly. Off we go, through the pool. How many legs are you going to do, Kevin? No, he doesn't know. Lovely. Okay, now just relax those shoulders and give your muscles a little wiggle in between. Let them get nice and loose. That's what we want to get. Oh, look, Callum's so relaxed, he's going to sleep. Excellent. Okay, so with this one, we're going to try and wake our torso up a little bit. So bring your arms up and your fists together, and we're going to move to the side. So we're going to go sideways, back to the centre, and sideways again. Back to the centre, and sideways. You can see this lower part of our body is staying still. Obviously, Callum's doing it in a seated position, as we said. And you can actually move the top half of your body here. So the bits that are waking up are these muscles down here, our side, our oblique muscles, waking up ready to do some activity. Lovely. Okay, now put your feet down on the floor in front of you. That's it. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend down and try and touch the opposite toe. So you're going to go down with your foot to the other toe. Okay, and you can again do this standing up. Oh, I'm not quite got my feet in shot. There they are. Wow. So you can see that I can bend down and touch the opposite toe with the opposite hand. So we're just waking up. Nice and gently, getting everything moving. If you can't do it with straight legs, bend your knees a little bit, or make it a little bit easier for yourself if you have to. Or if you're finding it too easy, you can always challenge yourself and try and make things a little bit harder. There's lots of ways of adjusting things to suit what you want to do. Okay, is that feeling good, Karen? Lovely. Right. Okay. The next one we're going to do, we're going to start waking our glutes up and get these things moving. So if you're sitting down, you're going to lift one knee off the floor and you're going to wrap your fingers around it and bring your knee into your chest. Good. Okay. If you're standing, you might want a little bit of support. So we're going to bring over a chair. I'm going to just lean against this chair so I can then bring the knee in and bring it up as far as it will go. And then I relax again. And then we're going to swap sides and we're going to bring the other knee up and into our chest and down again. So we're just waking up the glutes and the muscles down the back of our legs, ready for exercise today. Beautiful work. Okay, now this one we're going to start waking our calves up. So what we're going to do is if you're seated, you're going to put your leg in front and you're going to bring your toes to your shin, then release them and swap legs and bring your toes to your shin. Now I'm just going to show you this with my leg on a chair because you might need a little bit more of a close-up. So here we are, if your feet are on the floor, you're going to just pull your toes up here until they're reaching towards your shin and then relax them again and pull them up and relax them again. And you should feel the stretch along the back of your calf muscle there. If you're standing up, it's a little bit easier to do. It's a bit more tricky when you're sitting down, this one. You just stretch your toes up and let them down. And stretch them up and let them down. So, nice and stretched out, Helen? Good. Okay, so last one we're going to do today is we are going to circle our ankles. So either seated or standing, foot out in front of you, and circle in one direction. About 10 times. Lost count. And we're going to change direction and go the other way. There we go. Now we swap feet. We're going to circle. And circle the other way. There we go. Now you can have a little jiggle, relax yourself out, and we're all ready to go on to our next section. What we're going to do is we're going to split our half an hour routine up into sort of 5-minute sections so that you can see some different examples of exercise sets and relaxation and things that can help you to keep active and keep relaxed and reduce stress and all those kind of things. So the next thing we're going into now is our wheelchair workout. So again, if you're able-bodied, you can stand up and do this, or you can choose to sit and do it. If you're in a wheelchair, then you can fully join in with all the exercises we're doing here today. And this is just a short bit of kind of cardio workout for you before we move into our more relaxed yoga poses. Okay, the first one we're going to start with is our chest expansions. So Karen, you put your hands together in front of you, and then you're going to bring them out to the side, back to the middle, out to the side. I'm going to do this 20 times. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. And remember, when you're doing this, again, simplify it or make it harder as much as you want to. So you can do this a little bit faster. You can slow it down. You could do it and take a break between the sets. You could do it and bend forward as if you're touching your toes at the same time. So there's lots of different ways to change it up. Just make it suit you. Yeah, that's what it's all about, is doing things you enjoy. How many times do you reckon you've done it, Karen? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Lovely. Okay, so each of the exercises in this set, we're going to do either 10 or 20 times, but you choose how many you want to do. Our next one is side arm raises. So we're going to start again with our arms out to the side. We're going to point our palms to the sky, and we're going to clap our hands overhead. And then we're going back down to the side and up again. And again, 20 times. This is a good one for a festival, because now we're clapping along to Queen. We will rock you, maybe? That could work? Okay, festival ready. Whee! 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good, okay, so remember when you're doing this, there's lots of stretching down. You keep going. Oh, dear me. You have to watch him because he stops sometimes. 14, I think. 50. You may notice my counting with this is not fantastic, but you know, it's a rough estimate. It's all good, we're just waking up. What are we on now? 18?
That's 19.
19? 20? Whoa! Yeah, okay, Queen, champion of the world. Right, next one we're going to do today is our chest squeezes. So, hands, palms together. Make sure that heel of your hands together if you can. And we're going to push together. So what we're doing here, you'll see Callum has it a bit tricky because his hand doesn't necessarily go the right way. That's fine, you do what you can do. Hands together and push the heel of your hands together. So this bottom bit here, we're pushing together. Okay, and so each time we're just going to push that back together and release. You should feel this across your chest here. You should feel the muscles being squeezed. There we go. Okay, we're starting to wake up now. Muscles are moving. Right, the next thing we're going to do, we're back to swimming again. We did that butterfly earlier on. Now we're doing diving. So we're going to have our arms out to the side, and we're going to bring them in and dive. That's it. Whoa, look at him in the water. Michael Phelps. We've got another gold medal coming on, guys. Okay, we're going to do that 10 times. That was 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and whoosh, 5, and 6, and 7. All tongues out, we're focused. 8, 9, and 10. Well done. Okay. We're going to twist now. Now do be careful, I've just got to give you a bit of a warning. Callum likes to exercise with his tongue sticking out. If you're exercising with your tongue sticking out, don't bite your tongue off, okay? That's a very good safety warning. Just bear that in mind. Wait for you to wake up, shall we? Okay, let's get our torso away. So, arms up here, and we're going to do our torso twist. So we're going to bend out to the side, back to the middle, out to the side, back to the middle, out to the side, back to the middle, out to the side, back to the middle. Callum's going to keep going. And I'm going to tell you that we're waking up the obliques, we're waking up the muscles down the side of your body doing this one, and getting it all nice and loose. So you can see, even with the fact that we're doing seated exercise, even the fact that we're not getting off the chair, there's still lots of things you can do in that position. So there's never a situation where you can't join in with sports. Whatever holds you back, whatever barriers you have, you can get involved. We can change things up. Okay, let's stop that one now. Now we're going to do some arm circles. So we're going to put our arms out to the side, a little bit like our windmills, but just small circles. So So we're just going to make small, okay. Give us your plane noises.
No.
Oh, you were doing it, I heard you. Okay, Carol and Mike turn into an aeroplane. Backwards? Go. There we go, guys, that's the sound of an aeroplane going backwards, okay? Bear that in mind. If you do your arms fast enough, you might even fly, who knows? So how are you feeling, Helen?
Good.
Excellent. Right, okay, we're going to move on to our last 3 exercises for this set. So this time we're doing when you wake up. This is supposed to be a waking up session. Okay, so we're doing overhead punches. So we're going to start with our hands in front of us and we're going to punch to the sky and swap sides. Okay, so each time we're swapping sides. Again, you'll feel that pull down the side of your body. We're getting nice and loose now and ready for the day. So carry on, Helen, do a bit of punching for us. Looking good. Very nice, punching. Okay, now we're changing up a little bit. So instead of punching up, we're going to be punching out. So hands in front, and we're going to punch out and punch out. Swap sides, punch out. Now I know, some of you watching may think I'm never going to have a very good hook or an uppercut doing this, but we're just trying to wake those muscles up. We're not doing any boxing today. Okay, nice. How are you doing, Helen? Nice bit of boxing, lovely. Right, last one now. Okay, this is our last exercise for this little 5-minute set is our speed circles. So we've got our hands in front of us like this, and we're going to swirl. That's it, a bit like a hamster wheel. We're a hamster running on our wheel right now. It's a bit like boxing as well, yeah. So we're doing our boxing training. We could still be rocky at this rate. Okay, let's stop. Let's see if we can do it the other way. Way, reverse. Good work. Okay, well done, guys. You've done our first little mini session. We're going to move on now and do the next one. Right, okay, we're moving on. We've woken up, we've done our stretches, we've done our little bit of workout to get everything moving and nice and loose. And now we're going to be thinking about things like breathing, things about relaxation. It's really important at the moment, especially this year. We've all been through quite a tense time. So we need to learn to relax and appreciate things a little bit and let ourselves just chill. So one of the activities that we really like practicing is called 5-finger breathing. And what you do is you have your hand up. So Karen, you're going to put your hand up as well. And you trace around it while you're breathing. I'll just come in for a little bit of a close-up here and show you closer up, and then you'll see what we're doing. So as you trace up the outside of your finger with your other hand, you breathe in. And then as you trace down again, you breathe out. And we do this with each finger, okay? And it's a nice steady way to think about your breathing and just to ground yourself and get yourself back into sort of rhythm again. So let's give this a go, okay? So we're going to go in and out, and in and out. And you'll notice that we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you can, you need to change that, then do it. Ready? In and out, and in and out, and in and out. Okay, when you've done it, if you're at home doing this, just take a moment afterwards just to relax and recognise your breathing, feel your chest going in and out, feel the air coming in and filling your lungs and coming out again, and just let it help you relax. Sometimes we just tense ourselves up without even realising. So just focusing on your breathing for a little while helps you to just chill out and relax and feel that sense of being in the moment. Now I'm going to move over to my other hand and do it again. And we're going to remember to breathe in as we go up and out as we come down. We're breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Now Callum is going to stay on the same hand and do that hand again because he finds it tricky to use the other fingers. So again, you adapt the exercises to what works for you. Okay, here we go. You ready, Callum? Uh-oh, Callum's too relaxed now. He's going to sleep again. Big yawn. And off we go. So we're going in and we're going out. And try and feel all the breath come right to the bottom of your chest when you're breathing. So you can really feel yourself fill up with air. And we're going in and we're going out. And in and out. And again, when you're breathing out, nice and slowly, and try and really push that last breath out so you're getting rid of all that air, emptying out any air you've used so you can fill up with fresh air again and get nice and reoxygenated. Last 2 fingers, in and out. And in and out. How do you feel, Helen? Good, you're feeling good? All nice and chilled. Okay, and we're going to move on to our next little exercise here. And again, I'm going to do it standing up. Helen's going to remain seated. So we're going to show you how to do this. And again, this is about relaxation. It's about being tense and stressed. And quite often we walk around during the day and our muscles are very contracted and we're quite stressed and we don't actually realise it because we don't think about it. When you stop and you think, you suddenly realise that's why you're getting these aches and pains, because you're getting so stressed out and so contracted, everything's in nasty little knots. So what we do is we're going to work our way through our body now, and we're going to let all of that go. So it's about letting all the stress in our body go, about letting all the tenseness in our muscles relax. You up for this, Helen? Yep. Are we ready? Okay, so we're going to start with our shoulders, and we're going to work down our body. Okay, so we're going to bring our shoulders up to our ears. And we're going to really screw them up, and we're going to feel like we're in a real ball. We've got our shoulders screwed into our neck. Does it feel really tight, Helen? Okay, and now we're going to let them go, and we're going to bring our shoulders down, and we're going to drop our arms, and we're going to relax and let our muscles go right down, and we're going to feel all that stress coming out of our shoulders and out of our neck muscles there, and just moving away. We're just going to completely let it go. We want those muscles to be nice and soft and comfy. So now you should be able to feel that you can just move your shoulders around nice and easily. Get nice soft shoulders there, Helen? Nice and jiggly? Excellent. Okay, now we're going to think about our arms. So we're going to use our hands this time, and we're going to put our hands into fists. And we're going to ball our hands up really tight so we can feel all of our fists all screwed up and very tight and contracted. And now we're going to stretch them out, and we're going to gently stretch out, and we're going to let all of that go. And we're going to feel right down to our fingertips. Think about how your fingertips feel. And you just want to let all of that stress go out of our fingertips. All of those muscles move in, all of our joints are nice and soft, and they're good to go. Okay, so now we're going to bend our elbows now. We're going to come back up our arms again. We're going to bend our elbows up, and we're going to contract our biceps. So this part of our arm here is going to feel really tight and really contracted. So we're putting that right in. So we put our hands right up to our shoulders. And we're going to make it really tight. And then we're just going to slowly uncurl our arms and let all of that tension go out of those muscles. And as we curl down our arms, we're going to drop our arms again, dropping our shoulders. So we should still have those nice relaxed shoulders and nice relaxed fingertips. And our nice relaxed arms. So now this very top part of our body should feel nice and movable. How are you feeling, Helen? Good. Excellent. Right, okay, so we're going to move on. Now the next bit we're going to do is we're going to work on our legs now. We're doing our limbs today. So we are going to screw up our thighs. So the next thing we do is we're going to lift our legs up and bring our knees close to our body and just recognise that muscle here. We're going to feel our quads, we can feel them. As we pull our leg up, we can feel it squashing into our body, and we can feel that muscle being really firm and tight. Can you feel that, Helen? So if you're seated, you can put your foot up onto your chair, it makes it work a little bit easier. If you're standing, just rest on a chair, or rest on a surface. And then we're going to let that leg go back down again. And now you're going to feel, and you can feel the difference. If you feel your leg, you feel it nice and soft, because it's just relaxed, it's just nice and stretched and soft. There's no tension in there anymore. Okay, how's that feeling, Helen? Okay. Should we do the other leg? Let's do the other leg. Okay, and up comes that leg, and we're pulling it in tight, and we're screwing up into that leg, so we feel like a little ball again, tight and scrunched up. And if you feel your leg right now, it feels tight, doesn't it? It feels hard, Helen, yeah? And now we're going to drop that leg, and we're going to relax it again, and we're going to feel that muscle be soft again. It's all squidgy, it is, lovely. Okay, next one we're going to do is our ankles. So what we're going to do is we're going to stretch our toes to our shins. And what happens here is you can feel your calf muscle at the back is stretching out and feeling really pulled and tight. And you can feel that your feet are coming up into your body. And there's lots of tension there, there's lots of stretch on that muscle. And then we're going to let it go. And we're going to move back to a normal position. You can give your leg a little shake out if you want. And that's just releasing it down. Okay? We're going to do it on the other side too. So we're ready with the other foot. We're going to pull the toes up to the shins again. And just feel, we can feel that calf muscle stretching right out and pulling itself. And we can feel the front of the foot squishing together and feeling condensed and squashed. And lots of tension there, it feels very tight. Now we move it back. And we relax it down. And now let's just take in a really deep breath. We've worked down our body, we've worked through our limbs. Let's take a really deep breath in, Helen. And out. And now just take that moment to recognise, just to feel that everything is nice and loose and working happily. And if you think about that now, think about how those muscles feel right now, then you can make sure that if you're out in the day or you're at work or you're doing something and suddenly you feel a bit tense, just recognise where in your body that is so you can just let that tension go away and relax those muscles again. And that will make you feel much better and get less aches and pains. So, good stuff. Okay, in our next section, you're joining us now for a little bit of yoga to help us wake up this morning on the first day of the Community Business Festival that we're all enjoying already. And we're going to do a seated sun salutation. So this is our little bit of yoga. And again, this is adapted to suit people that maybe have some different needs. But of course, anyone can join in. So that's the lovely thing about this. So we start off with our hands together. So Callum, hands together in front of you. And then we're going to stretch all the way back. We're reaching our palms up to the sun. And we're saluting the sun. So we're keeping our legs on the floor. We're stretching our hands right back over our heads, so you've got a nice curved back. We're going to then come all the way down, and we're going to touch our toes. So our hands are coming down to the front, and we're touching our toes. Yeah, Callum's touching his toes, that's good. Okay, and now what we do is we bring up one leg. So we're going to bring our right leg up onto the chair, and we're going to squeeze it into our chest and tip our head back, looking at the sun. Morning, sun. Looking at the sun, Callum?
Yeah.
Good boy. Okay, foot back on the floor, and we're going to swap legs. This one's going to come up now. And again, we're going to bend back, and we're going to say, good morning, Mr. Sun. Lovely to see you in the sky today. Okay, and our foot's going to go down again. Now that's basically one cycle, so we're going to go through it again. So if you can remember back to the beginning, we lift our hands up to the sky, palms up to the sun, so we're all ready to sunbathe and get our tans going. Then we're coming, you ready, Callum? Good, we're coming down, all the way to our toes, hands on our toes, and then up we come again, and our legs coming up, and we're pulling that into our chest. And we're looking back up at the sun. And we're letting that leg go down. And the other leg comes up. Pulled into our chest. And head back to the sun. We're getting lots of suntan going on today. And down to the floor. And then we're just going to finish off with stretching back to the sun again. And head up to enjoy those sunbeams. Down to the floor, touching our toes, and back up all the way back to the sun again. There, and that is your seated sun salutation. So I hope the sun is shining where you are today. Okay, next section. We're going to take you through what's called a reset stretch. So over lockdown and over the past few months, a lot of us have been sitting still a lot, working from home on our laptops, playing on our Xboxes, watching TV, all those sort of things. And what happens is we get all crunched up, we get a bit stiff, especially when you get a bit older. And you get up the sofa and there's crunches and things everywhere. So what we want to do is have a little stretch And this is one that you can use when you're at the office or when you get up from watching telly or come off your game system. And it will just help you move around a little bit easier afterwards without too many oohs and ahs. So here we go. Callum, are you ready? Lovely. So we're going to start with our hands in front of us together. Okay, well done. So it's palms together in front of you. And we're squeezing together and just holding that position. So we're just going to hold that position there. And this is going to be for about 20 seconds. So if you can, hands flat, palms together, and push together. And that should start stretching out your shoulders and those upper arms that have been sitting there doing nothing or tense while you've been tapping on your keyboard. Okay, and we're going to move on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch out our triceps. So this muscle here, again, needs a bit of a stretch. So Callum, you're going to put your arm up and down the back. And you're going to use the other arm to pull that shoulder in. So I'm going to turn around so you can see what we're doing. This arm's coming over my head. And I'm going to hold on to that elbow and just pull it across as much as you can. And when you're stretching, remember you don't want to hurt yourself. You just want to feel the stretch, not pain. So you're stretched out nicely there and pulling on that tricep. Again, continue to stretch for about 20 seconds. And it just helps those muscles just to chill a little bit. So pop your arms up to the sky and just reach out a little bit and slip it over. So we're going to bring the other arm behind your head. And again, pull on that elbow slightly just to tuck that arm in a little bit further. And you should be feeling the stretch down here. You should be waking up those muscles a little bit and letting them know that you're getting off the sofa now and EastEnders is finished. So, we're moving on. Okay, the next one we're going to do is we're going to stretch your wrists out. Now, quite often if we've been doing these working from home or we've been sitting on our game system, our fingers and our hands have been moving around. So we want to just let them relax a little bit, stretch them out. We don't want any repetitive strain injuries. So we're going to take the fingers and you're going to pull them back. That's it. Okay, so take your fingers with your other hand and just pull gently backwards. So you should be feeling a stretch in your wrist here. It's just stretching out those fingertips, stretching out your hand, and getting that back to mobility a little bit. Okay, just hold that for a few seconds and let everything get back to normal. And then swap your hands, and we're going to do it on the other side. That's it. And remember, you just adapt these to how suits you. All right, we want you to feel that it's helping you. Okay, so that's your wrist stretched out. Now we're going to stretch out our backs, because when we're sitting doing this, you get up and your back's a bit bad. So we're going to arch our back. So as you can see, Callum's going to do this seated again. I'll do it standing. So hands on the top of the hip there, around the back, and push your back forward as if your tummy's coming out, and stretch those shoulders back. And we're just going to hold it like that, like a cat when it arches its back down to the floor. Okay, and we're going to hold that position and get that back stretched out a little bit. Is that feeling good, Callum? Feels like your back's waking up a bit after all that gaming. Okay, and relax. And the last one we're going to do with this section is our shoulder stretch. So we're going to weight these shoulders up and we're going to do an overhead stretch. So we're going to interlock our fingers, we're going to turn our palms outwards, and we're going to bring that up over our head. So I'll turn around so you can see. So palms interlocked, we're pointing the palms of our hands to the sky, and we're just pointing right up as far as we can. Stretch as high as you can, but keep your head nice and forward looking. And then it's just pulling up those shoulders and stretching them out a little bit. That should just help everything feel a little bit more happy after being in one position for a long time or doing lots of emails today. Okay, and give yourself a little stretch out, a little jiggle, and we're good to go. Now that actually is the last bit of our sessions for today. So we're going to just finish you off now with a little cool down stretch at the end, just because you've been using some of those muscles. And you know, some people might not need a cool down stretch depending on their level of activity, but it's always wise to do one anyway, especially for those of us who are less active, and so it has a much greater effect when we do exercise. And what we don't want is you waking up all stiff and uncomfortable the next day, because it will put you off doing it again. So we're going to have a nice cool down stretch with you now. Okay, so Callum, we're going to take our shoulders to our chins, and we're going to bend up to the shoulder, and we're going to hold it there. And then we're going to come back to centre. We're going to go to the other side. And we're going to hold it there. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to reach our hands out in front of us. And we're going to stretch around the back of our body. And if you can, just try and pull your fingertips a little bit more. And hold that position. And we call this stretch the I love me hug. Give yourself a nice big hug for all the work you've done this evening. Okay, now you stretch out again and put the other arm on top. And again, stretch around the back. Opening up your back. Just letting all that exercise and energy come out of your muscles now, so you're ready to just wander off and get on with your day. Good. Okay, now we're going to bend over, we're going to touch the opposite toe. So if you stretch your feet out in front of you there, Callum, and you're going to bend down from your waist and touch your opposite toe. And back up to central, and swap sides. Good, okay, and we're going to do our torso now, so hands on your hips, and we're going to bend around to one side, just the top half of our body, the bottom half is still facing forward, and just hold that position. And then we're going to come back down to central, and we're going to go the other way. So again, try and keep your lower body facing forward, and your upper body turned around. Okay, so the top half of your body is nice and stretched out now. You should remove all those lactic acid from your muscles. So we're going to start moving down the body a little bit. So the next one we're going to do, if you're standing, again, you might need to just rest on something here. We're going to take our foot and we're going to hold it behind us. Now, if you're seated, then you can try and, you can do that. Oh, Callum's just invented a new stretch for himself, so this is good. You can all think about your own stretches. What you might want to do is move over to the side of the chair, Callum. Move over this way of the chair. That's it, and then you can lift your foot up there. There you go, that works. If you're standing, then you catch hold of your ankle and pull it up the back and hold your foot up to your bottom. So we're stretching out your quads. And then we swap sides, so you'll probably want to shuffle over a little bit in your chair. And do it that way. Good job. There you go, you can invent your own exercises as you go. Let's see if I can balance. Oh, not very well today. No, it's not my good leg. Okay. There. Right, now we're going to try and bring our feet up towards us. So you're going to try and fold your feet up onto your chair. That's it. And the other one. And then you're just going to let your legs drop down sideways. Down, 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 down. So you keep the feet up together.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah? There we go. Feet up towards you. So it's looking a little bit like a lotus position going on here. That's it. And legs down to the sides. Tricky, isn't it, on a chair? We do this one a lot when we're sitting on the floor for exercises. But if we want to stretch our muscles out on the inside of our legs and we're standing, then we're going to be feet shoulder width apart, and we're going to lunge to the side. So you can feel the stretch in here. So try and keep your back straight. You're stretching out the inside of your leg here. And then we can bend over to the other way. This knee bent, this leg nice and straight, and toes pointing forwards. And then you can feel the stretch down the inside of your leg. Okay, we're going to move on to calves now. So, Callum, you're going to put one of your legs out in front of you, and you're going to stretch your toes up towards your shins. And we can do this standing. So our back leg is bent, and our front leg is straight, and we're trying to pull our toes up as much as we can towards our shins, and just hold that position for a little while. Okay, we're going to swap legs. So again, bend your back knee, front toes pulled up towards your shin. Callum's leg Try and put that leg out straight and pull those toes up tight. So see if you can get your toes any closer up towards your shin. Can you feel the stretch down the back of your calf muscle? Okay. Sometimes we have to move our position around a little bit to make sure the stretch is in the right place. But now you're all stretched out. You've had half an hour of exercise with us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope you've enjoyed finding out about Defiant Sports. Thank you for joining us at the Community Business Festival, and we'll see you all soon.